Everyone at some point in life has wondered what the meaning of all this is. But almost no one has the courage to go all the way with that question. Almost everyone gets distracted, settles, forgets. Recently, I read The Moviegoer by Walker Percy, a little-known book in Brazil that hasn't been translated into Portuguese. I came across a story that seemed simple, but beneath the surface, it carried something rare. A possible answer, or at least a direction, to the essential question of life. This book moved me in a way that's hard to explain, and that's why, in this video, I'm going to tell you the story of this book and explain what's behind it. Because it might be that after this video, you'll never see your life the same way again. The story begins by introducing us to Binx, a 29-year-old successful stockbroker who lives in a good neighborhood in New Orleans, United States. His life has everything they say a single man should have. He lives alone, has a good job, financial stability, comfort, dates several women, and still has time for leisure and entertainment. And for a long time in his life, he believed that was enough. I'm an exemplary tenant, an exemplary citizen, and I take pleasure in fulfilling everything that's expected of me. My wallet is packed with identification library and credit cards. It's a pleasure to fulfill my civic duties and in return receive a receipt or a laminated card with my name on it, as if it attested, so to speak, to my right to exist. He was proud of this feeling of being part of his identity as an exemplary citizen. You can't say he was passionate about his routine. He just followed it out of preference for the familiar. Even if it was dull, it was preferable to the discomfort of a life without a script. He wakes up, goes to work, fakes interest in spreadsheets, meetings, targets, and small talk after work. He escapes to the movies and there, for a few hours, lives other lives, feels other pains, experiences other loves, and after the movies, later at night. He used to have affairs with the secretaries at his office. It was practically a different one every week. Binx seemed to exist in a constant state of numbness, so used to boredom that he no longer even realized he was being suffocated by it. A boredom that can't be fixed by vacations, new hobbies, or similar things. It's the boredom of someone who feels life has lost its spark and wonders if this is all there is. Binx, a war veteran, killed men and witnessed death, and he came back with the feeling that all that war heroism praised in political propaganda, in books and movies, is nothing but a lie. In the war, he lived with the filthiest and most devastating side of human beings. He saw the worst of life. He fought and battled in the name of his country's honor. But when he came back, no one really seemed to care about that. He was just another person, no one special. As soon as he arrived, they quickly put him back in the social line. Work, marriage, children, retirement, life goes on. He may have survived physically, but spiritually, something inside him was left on the battlefield. But that emptiness isn't a crisis yet. He's not exactly depressed or anxious all the time. He's living the life people say is the right one, and that brings him some comfort, but at the same time, there's something inside him that's already disconnected. His satisfaction is a resigned, lukewarm, automated satisfaction. He feels a slight discomfort, but he doesn't yet have the language or the courage to call it emptiness. And the strangest thing is that when Binx looks around, no one seems to be bothered. People live as if everything is in its place, as if life is exactly that, and that's it. Everyone seems satisfied, dreaming about the dream house, a sports car, 2 weeks of vacation, a peaceful retirement, having a respectable name in society. And everyone works hard to achieve these things as if that's the way, the formula to silence the emptiness. But Binx, little by little, begins to wake up from the anesthesia, and he starts to see all of this as a big performance, a play where the actors have forgotten their acting, as if the world had gone into collective autopilot and only he had woken up. In the middle of this play, he feels like there's something essential missing, something no one mentions, something maybe no one else even notices, while everyone is trapped in worldly desires and ambitions, believing they'll find salvation there. Binx looks at the whole picture and realizes that those at the bottom spend their lives dreaming about what those at the top have, while those at the top are always bored. even after achieving everything they've always dreamed of, and Binx on some level is also one of those guys at the top. After all, many people looking from the outside would dream of having the life he has, the status, the women, the material possessions. But deep down, he knows the truth. And so life seems to boil down to two extremes: the longing to have and the boredom of possessing. And then the big question arises: what should I really seek? What is the meaning of all this? Although this question is now dormant in Binx's routine and life, it has already deeply penetrated his mind. But that was a long time ago. It was during the war. He was wounded, lying on the ground, flirting with the danger of death. And suddenly a thought entered his mind, as he describes well in this passage. I remember the first time the search occurred to me. I was under a bush, wounded. The pain in my shoulder was gone, but I was pressed against the ground 6 inches from my nose. A beetle was turning over the soil, and as I watched it, an immense curiosity awakened in me. I was in contact with something, and I promised myself that if I got out of there alive, I would pursue it, the search. Naturally, after I recovered and came home, I completely forgot about it. The war and the closeness of death planted the seed of awareness in his mind. But when he returned home, Binx buried it. He hid it in routine, chose an ordinary life, and gladly found refuge there. But the story of the book doesn't end there. On the contrary, it starts to unfold from the morning when everything changed. 10 years after that episode, on the battlefield, he wakes from another war dream, but this time, something awakens in him, reminding him of that forgotten promise. I woke up, looked at the objects on top of the dresser, wallets, coins, keys, and they seemed strange, as if they belonged to another man. For the first time, I really saw them, and by seeing them, the search became possible. Now, he no longer saw the beetles, bushes, or nature, just life itself before him. He could no longer hide or postpone it. Now he knew. You either confront it or retreat and sink, forcing him to finally face the question he's avoided. Who am I without the roles, titles, or names that supposedly give life meaning? He sees himself as someone who lives in this world but doesn't fully belong to it, that these identities don't reflect who he is. And he comes to the conclusion that maybe what is missing to fill this emptiness he feels isn't something you can buy, measure, or show off. It's not money, nor status, nor fame, nor pleasure. At that moment, that boredom becomes conscious. It stops being just uncomfortable and turns into a rupture. And when that happens, either you dive into the search or you rot inside. But what exactly is this search? What is its nature? In the book, he describes it as follows. Actually, it is very simple, so simple that it is easily ignored. The search is what anyone would undertake if they weren't sunk in the banality and sameness of their daily life. Waking up, working, meeting goals, paying bills, and repeating the routine for stability. It numbs the person until they forget to search, but when the search finally awakens, it's as if something screams inside. This can't be all. There has to be more. Ignoring the call leads to despair, but feeling it brings life. Most people avoid feeling, thinking, or doubting. Most people prefer ready-made answers and simple formulas chosen by others. That's what it means to be happy. That's what it means to be someone. That's how you should live. They sink, and Binx realizes this is what moves the world. A silent despair, well disguised, not the dramatic kind, but the one that dresses up as normality, the one that hides behind stable, successful, and well-planned lives. As he himself says, becoming aware of the possibility of the search is being in contact with something. Not being in contact with anything is being in despair. Binx looks around and sees a mass of people living on autopilot, empty, performing tasks, meeting goals, surviving, without ever asking themselves what for. And what scares him the most is not the suffering, it's the numbness. For him, the true enemy of the soul is not pain, nor poverty, nor death. It's daily life, the modern routine, with its efficiency, comforts, deadlines, and distractions. It seems to have been designed to keep everyone numb so that no one stops for even a second and asks themselves, What am I doing here? Consumer culture, technology, social order, everything seems designed to keep people away from themselves, so that they stay too busy to notice the emptiness, so that they never have time to feel. And Binx doesn't want that anymore, not because he wants to be different, or out of vanity or arrogance, but because he feels something inside him that still beats, that refuses to die. In a world where everyone seems to have already figured things out, where everyone seems satisfied with the explanations about what God is, what success is, what truth is, but he, in silence, still questions himself, still has doubts, still has curiosity, and that's exactly where his search happens. For him, the mistake most people make isn't in living the way they do, but in accepting any answer just so they don't have to keep asking questions. He embraces because he refuses to accept an easy answer. The only faith that still makes sense to him isn't the religious faith of books or temples, but the faith of someone who keeps moving forward. The faith that even without guarantees, he will keep searching for answers. There's even a very powerful passage in the book that illustrates this moment of faith. The only real relationship he has is with Kate, a woman who is broken inside, fragile, unstable, but who, just like him, also refuses to live numb. That's why, among all the relationships he goes through, this is the only one he seems to care about. There's a moment when Kate comes to him at night in crisis, overwhelmed by fear, emptiness, and feeling lost. She asks him, "Is everything going to be okay?" And he answers, "Yes, it will." But she doesn't seem satisfied and asks him to answer her question again. And he says, "Everything is going to be okay." It's not a promise, it's not a guarantee, it's a gesture. Being together in a classic romance, everything is going to be okay. It could mean that order would be restored, that there would be a happy ending, but in this case, I see this phrase much more as I don't know if everything is going to be okay, but regardless of that, I'm with you. It's not a certainty, it's an act of courage, like someone admitting, I don't have all the answers, but I'm here. Sometimes that's all we have, an act of faith. Because in the end, no one has any guarantees, not about love, not about life, and not about what we're doing here. Maybe that's why Binx's story, unlike many others, doesn't end with a happy or unhappy conclusion. It doesn't have a clear destiny. It ends with him present, attentive, alive, and willing to keep searching. Because maybe that's the point. Maybe life doesn't offer meaning as a reward for those who follow the rules or behave well. Maybe the meaning is in the movement itself, in the discomfort, in the doubt, in the curiosity that persists, in the refusal to fall asleep. Maybe the meaning is in the faith that doesn't promise answers, but supports the search, the faith of those who don't need to understand everything to keep going, of those who, despite everything, still dare to live. If Binx could leave one last sentence for this life, it would be this: let everything be lacking except faith